riding around on the moon. We were successful in persuading NASA and the astronauts that on the Apollo 16, which was the second rover type landing, they would do a kind of a test drive before going out on a tour. And we call this test drive the Grand Prix on the moon. And it consisted of a figure 8, accelerating the vehicle, going top speed, making a sharp turn, going back, and put the brakes on full. So you will see this little vehicle with the two astronauts actually talking to each other. John Young, the commander, was driving the vehicle, and Charlie Duke was taking a video with the 60mm movie camera.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm not going to break it. The map, anything.
That's all, Mark. That max acceleration?
No.
Man, you are really bouncing.
Is he on the ground at all? That's 10 kilometers.
Huh? He's got about 2 wheels on the ground. He's a big rooster tail out of all 4 wheels. And as he turns, he skids, the back end breaks loose just like on snow. Come on back, John. Okay, the deck is running. Man, I'll tell you, Andy's never seen a driver like this. Okay, when he hits the craters and starts bouncing is when he gets his rooster tail. He makes sharp turns. Hey, that was a good stop. Those wheels just locked. Mark off.
Okay. Do you want to do it one more time? Yeah, about a minute, 5 seconds that
Okay,
time.
mark on. Okay, you could have gone the other way. Go ahead. There's the big craters there, though, weren't they?
Yeah, I don't know one of those holes.
They want 4 minutes worth, John. That was 1 minute and 5. Maybe you could do it twice more.
Surely.
Okay, turn sharp.
I have no desire to turn sharp. Okay, here's a Sharpie.
Hey, that's great. And those things, when those wheels really dig in, John, when you turn is when you get the rooster tail. The spin system on that thing is fantastic.
That sounds good. We sound like we've probably got enough of the Grand Prix. We're willing to let you go on from here. Call that a Grand Prix.
Okay. Man, that was all 4 wheels off the ground there. Okay, max stop.
Okay, I don't want to do that.
Okay, excuse me.
They say that's a no-no.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Many thanks to Ferenc Pavlic. Great discoveries are actually made by a combination of intense intellectual scientific curiosity and some cleverness, and also a new capability, actually on with a look forward to future lunar and other exploration on solar system bodies. I present to you Phil Abel of NASA Glenn.
Thank you. I also am honored to be here, and I'd like to thank the organizers as well as the sponsor. I'm here to give you a little bit of what we're planning. I had actually hoped, and well, and in good academic form, you have to see an outline. I actually had hoped to give you what the President had told us to do next, but that hasn't happened. We're still waiting for the Augustine Commission report to be delivered to the President. And until that happens, and until we're told otherwise, we're still planning to get back to the moon and on to Mars. So what I'm going to show you a little bit about tonight is the context, the return to the moon, some of the concepts behind the robotic support that we'd like to provide to the astronauts, and then go into a little bit of detail on some of the lunar compatible hardware that we've designed in order to make that possible. So, where are we headed? The vision for space exploration was laid out in 2004, and basically Back to the Moon was set out as a way of preparing for going on to Mars and further destinations within the solar system. So whether you think of it as a practice run or a way of honing engineering skills, doing some science, the idea was back to the moon because we need to learn how to stay in very harsh environments, space, for longer periods of time than during Apollo. So we want to go beyond Apollo, where it was an incredible achievement to spend 3 days in this incredibly harsh environment. But what we'd like to do under the current plan is start out with week-long sorties, and eventually, with enough equipment in place, stay for months at a time. We'd like the equipment to be reusable, so that the equipment itself would be expected to last at least 5 years. And in the case of the rover, we're estimating that we may want to run it for 10,000 miles or more. And I don't know how many of you have not changed your car oil for 10,000 miles. Not a good idea. We need to learn how to build very durable machinery, and again, within a very foreign environment. So we're learning how to do long duration stays with Mars Forward, Mars missions in mind eventually. How do we do that? For the last 2-3 years, some of the best and brightest of NASA have gotten together and looked at options. How do we stage this? How do we get all the equipment needed in place? What do we send first? And we've also, in doing some of the early studies, had to deal with uncertainties in how big a launcher we would have. The question of where to go has come up. The lunar polar location for some of the scenarios was chosen because at that spot you have nearly continuous sunlight. There is some speculation that there might be water in the cold, dark craters that never see the sun at the poles. Some of the scenarios had a nuclear power plant sent up early so that you had plenty of power. And that would allow, among other things, use of resources from the moon itself. You take the rocks and you break them down and extract the oxygen. The question of whether there was water was still open. And again, this is a well-timed lecture in that tomorrow morning we may have a glimpse at just how much water there might be frozen in the cold, dark craters of the south pole of the moon.